What if I were to tell you one of the easiest ways to secure a big windfall was to hit up a casino and play some good old-fashioned slots? Before you click away and write this video off as bunk, hear me out. Sure, there's a lot of luck involved in winning at slots, but with a little cleverness and careful planning, you can win large amounts of cold hard cash in no time. In this video, we're going to be discussing some proven strategies that can make winning this game of chance significantly easier. Facts First presents Telltale Signs the slot machine is about to hit a jackpot. Time the machines. If you're at a physical casino and not gambling online, you can simply sit down next to the slot machine you're timing and observe the results. It's important, however, to make sure you're playing while you're timing, otherwise you might look like you're up to something. The last thing you want to do is make either other players or security feel uneasy or question your activities. If you're observing a machine, and you start to notice it's getting a lot of attention but has yet to pay out a big win, this is a pretty good indicator that it might be getting close to paying out some substantial wins soon. That's where timing comes in. If it's been a long time since a machine has hit, it means it's your time to shine. If this seems to be the case, then you want to be the next person to hop on that machine when the current person steps away. If you're playing online, then alternatively, you want to watch for the announcements that many of the biggest online casinos post to inform players about recent big wins. Conversely, if a slot machine has recently paid out a large jackpot, it would be wise to avoid it for a while. Look for tight machines. Another thing you should keep in mind when playing slots is that machines have cycles. There isn't a game out there that will remain tight forever. At some point, any machine, no matter how bad its recent streak has been, will pay out big. And when that happens, you want to be the player playing it. If a machine has been tight for a noticeable length of time, it will eventually reach a point where it will pay out a few decent-sized wins. Generally speaking, this tends to happen bam, bam, bam several times in a row. So if you're playing and you get a nice little payout, don't immediately assume it's time to step away. Stick around for a while to see if it has a bit more to give. A lot of times you'll start noticing a pattern which will lead you to seeing much larger wins in a row. Choose slots with high payouts. We all know the house always wins, right? Well, it's actually possible to play that house edge to your advantage. The house edge results in a secure percentage of return to the casino over time. That means in the long run, the casino will always end up beating the players as the odds are in their favor. To beat these odds on your subjective level, however, you have to understand that each slot has a theoretical return to player, or RTP rate, which is based on simple statistics. The approximate RTP for slots is normally between 90 and 96%. This essentially means that every slot machine with an RTP greater than 96% is a pretty good option to run with. If your plan is to play on a long-term level, you'll need to be observant of the percentage and choose machines with the highest RTPs. The most reliable way to find RTP data for slot machines is by consulting reports from gaming jurisdictions. Steer clear of unpopular machines. One of the last things you want to do is play machines that aren't very popular with other players. Like we mentioned earlier, the best way to score a big payout is to play games that have been seeing a lot of action from other players, yet haven't produced big wins in a while. The more popular machines have a greater chance of becoming loose and producing the kind of results you're looking for. By hopping on a stale, less popular machine, you're essentially throwing away your money. Instead, you could be taking that money and focusing on games that are more likely to produce the wins you're looking for. Don't fall for the trap of thinking that a less popular machine might actually be the hidden gem. Countless players have taken this bait, only to have their wallets emptied. Plus, the less popular machines tend to be far less entertaining and lack special features, which both add more enjoyment to your gaming experience as well as increase your chances of winning. Don't play a machine for too long. If the machine is just stringing you along, giving you just barely enough wins along the way to give you false hope, then you should realize the machine may not be getting loose anytime soon. The best thing to do in this scenario is cut your losses and walk away. You can always revert back to tip number 1 and keep your eyes out for machines that are getting a lot of attention. You can also always return to a machine that hasn't been working out for you later. In the meantime, someone else might jump on it to loosen it up for you. When you come back later, assuming the machine hasn't already hit, you'll be that much closer to hitting. Play high-limit slots. Another helpful tip you'd be smart to follow is to play the higher-limit slot games. These games may cost you a small fortune to play, but as long as you have enough cash to keep going, they offer significantly higher payouts. They also statistically tend to pay out more often. But if you're going to take this route, be smart about it. Remember to keep an eye on your bankroll and not get carried away. It's always best to play responsibly and not let greed cloud your judgment. If you're someone used to playing regular slots, you want to be especially cautious when you switch to high-limit games. Your money will get eaten a lot faster, and if you don't exercise a little self-control, you could be in for a big surprise. That said, if you want to find looser slot machines, these typically are your best bet. Play to win. Many machines require their players to gamble with the maximum amount of money if they want to have a chance of winning the jackpot. Make sure you check the game's payout table to find out if this is the case. The payout tables are often presented as a small printed sticker that displays the percentages of the likelihood of landing on the winning combos. If you don't want to have to play the max number of coins, maybe you should consider finding a less expensive machine. But just remember, it's the higher stakes games that tend to be looser and offer larger payouts. Test the payout. Every time you sit down at a new machine, you should test it to see what its payout percentage is looking like. Toss a few bucks in and see how much you get back. After a bit of time has passed, calculate whether or not you've been breaking even. If you are, hang tight. It might just be that you're sitting on a loose slot machine. If you're losing cash faster than a barrel that's sprung a leak, hightail it out of there. This is probably as good of a time to warn you about the perils of designating your favorite or lucky machine. If you devote a lot of your attention and your bankroll to one specific machine, you'll be far less likely to know when to leave it. Once again, when it stops paying out, it's time to move on. Play multiple machines. Experienced slot players will often play 2 or more machines at a time. This is based on the notion that loose machines are usually situated right next to tight ones. To increase your likelihood of finding a loose machine on the verge of paying out, increasing the number of machines you're using may increase your chance of getting lucky and finding a loose one. If you do choose to play multiple machines, don't spread yourself too thin. If you're playing machines spread out over a distance, you might lose track of which machines are yours. Also, playing multiple machines at once makes it a lot easier to lose your money faster than if you're gambling at just one. Take your time, keep an eye on your cash, and don't impulsively blow everything you have with reckless abandon. Know when to stop. Before stepping into a land-based casino or logging on to an online one, figure out how much money you're willing to and can afford to lose. Never spend money you need for essential obligations like rent or bills. Likewise, if you make a significant profit, seriously consider pocketing it and limiting your gambling solely to the cash you came in with. If you adopt this straightforward system, it'll help minimize your losses. Now it's time to hear from you. What does your strategy look like when playing slots? Let us know in the comments section below.